making its debut sporting an all-new, sleeker design and serving as a replacement for the outgoing model, which had been on sale since 1987. The 1995 Lincoln Continental continued with a platform shared with the Ford Taurus and Mercury Sable. Powered by a V8 engine, the Continental provided its customers with a ton of electronics and state-of-the-art features. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the 1995 to 2002 Lincoln Continental, an American luxury sedan that targeted buyers looking for a large sedan with exemplary comfort and ride quality wrapped in a satisfying package. So grab some iced coffee, kick back, and let's get down to the nitty-gritty. For 1988, the Lincoln Continental joined the Ford Taurus and Mercury Sable, utilizing the front-drive FN9 platform. This new modern Continental rode on a stretched version of that platform and was the first front-drive car Lincoln ever produced. Furthermore, this also just so happened to be the first time the brand offered a vehicle without a V8 engine. That said, under the hood of the 1988 Continental lurked the same 3.8-liter Essex V6 engine offered in the Taurus. This car's signature piece of equipment was a computer-controlled suspension. The 1988 Continental suspension utilized strut-mounted air springs and automatic leveling. Sensors detected the car's motion and speed and adjusted the amount of air in each spring to soften or firm up the ride. Sales picked up tremendously over the previous 1987 body style, with sales for this current generation peaking at approximately 65,000 units at the beginning of the new decade, 1990. Furthermore, at the beginning of the new decade, the development process for a future successor had entered the initial stages. 1991. The design for a new generation Continental was submitted and approved via Fritz Mayhew. The upcoming sedan will continue on the FN9 platform. It was decided by developers the all-new Continental will retain some of the features from the previous generation, such as electronic self-leveling air springs. For the new generation, there will also be 3 levels of ride control and 3 levels of rack and pinion power steering assist. While some features would be carried over, the old power plant would not. Instead, there will be a transverse V8 engine. While evolutionary, the body design of the new Continental will be leaner. Looking at the inside of the car, the cockpit will boast a visually interesting dashboard and instrument panel. The new car will also feature a system dubbed multiplex electronics, where each major feature of the car will be run by a module, and all of the modules will be programmed to interact with each other many times per second as the car is being driven. Lincoln Mercury product planners and marketing executives mentioned, "Our goal is to create the best front-drive luxury car in the world, and further, this new Continental will measure up to our goal." That, however, was a rather lofty goal. Even with a front-drive layout, which would hinder direct comparisons with the excellent Lexus LS400, the Continental would still be measured against cars such as the Cadillac Seville. 1994. In the early part of this year, the Lincoln Contemporary concept car was unveiled. This concept was said to be a preview of the 1995 Continental that would enter production in the 4th quarter of the year. Fast forward to November 1994. Production began via Wixom Assembly. Looking at the car up front, the new design displays styling cues pioneered by the Lincoln Mark VIII. Gone was the 3.8-liter Essex V6. Power now came from Ford's 4.6-liter Intech V8. Speaking of the Mark VIII, the 4.6-liter engine was essentially the same as that car, but was detuned for less power in the front-drive Continental. The new for 1995 sedan launched in December 1994. This Continental was the only production vehicle in Ford's lineup which featured a Ford modular engine, which was mounted transversely and utilized in a front-wheel drive configuration. The 4.6-liter 32-valve modular V8 cranked out 260 horsepower, and was mated to a 4-speed automatic. Although the Continental's chassis was Taurus derived, it was from the new for 1996 Taurus, and it combined Ford's modernized computer-controlled air suspension and was guided by an adjustable power steering system.
Continental was designed and built to be strong, quiet, and safe. The material used in this car's fenders, hood, and deck lid is sheet molded compound, or SMC. SMC is a composite material formed of plastic, resin, and fiberglass that's molded to form the body parts. The result is strong, dent-resistant parts that are lighter than steel. Oh, and they don't rust either.
The Continental was developed with air spring technology. This was the same technology found in the previous Continental, although it was refined by the company. The Continental used German-made struts with electronic control modules that adjusted the suspension through plush, normal, and firm ranges. On the inside, the instruments employed a display technique called virtual image that projected the instrument faces onto a black field containing the orange needles.
This unique three-dimensional look makes the analog gauges easy to read in any lighting condition and enhances Continental's futuristic appearance.
For 1995 and 1996 model years, Continentals utilized air ride suspension on all 4 wheels. For the 1997 model, Lincoln removed the front air units and replaced them with traditional steel coil springs. By this time, the luxury market was becoming increasingly competitive. Lincoln crafted the new Continental with hopes for it to stay relevant in such a competitive segment. But this came with a cost. With so much emphasis placed on interior appointments and equipment, this ultimately made the Continental more expensive than before. To be quite frank, it became a bit too expensive for typical customers. As a result, around 1997, Lincoln deleted some features from the Continental, thus dropping prices 10%. Stripping away some features and lowering the price tag contributed to keeping sales on track.
Continental offers a first-in-the-industry personal security system called Lincoln Rescue that uses satellite technology and the nation's cellular network to help motorists who need roadside or emergency assistance. With Rescue, help is just a touch of a button away. On the overhead console, you'll see 2 buttons, one with a tow truck and one with an ambulance.
Whereas the 1995 Continental became the electronic junkie in Lincoln's showrooms, the 1998 Continental displays simplified electronics in conjunction with refined styling. Lincoln claimed there were more than 400 changes for the refreshed model, and the driver adjustable electronic front and rear shocks was now an option. Looking at the front of the refreshed 1998 Continental, there was a strong resemblance to the redesigned new for 1998 Town Car. The 32-valve double overhead cam engine was carried over to the 1998 model. Power remained at 260, but torque was now 270, up from 1997's 265. Fast forward to 1999, horsepower was now rated at 275 with 275 pound-feet of torque. The crosstown rival Cadillac Seville had an edge with the power figures, generating 300 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. Despite the fact Ford offered a more powerful and sportier Taurus, and Cadillac had the Seville STS, a higher performance variant of the Continental was never offered. On the inside, the interior could still seat 6 when equipped with the front bench seat, and leather was standard on either setup. By 1999, the Continental commanded the same sticker price on showroom floors as the Town Car, although it wasn't quite as large and did not have the rear-wheel drive layout of the Town Car. Its mid-cycle refresh was designed to share the family resemblance with the popular Town Car. However, this tactic caused many to complain that the refreshed Continental had now lost its identity along the way and lacked uniqueness, especially when compared to the new, smaller LS sedan, which was just now going on sale in 1999 for the 2000 model year. This presented a problem, in particular in-house competition. Although the Continental and Town Car were different, they virtually competed for an almost identical demographic. Looking at the 1998 price tag for the Continental, we can see the MSRP was around $37,000. Now, if we take a look at the town car's price in 1998, we can see that it was very similar in price to the Continental. The Continental became the weakest link in Lincoln's showrooms, especially since it was experiencing declining sales. 2002 would be the final model year for the Continental, leaving prospective Lincoln luxury sedan buyers to choose between the town car and the LS. All in all, the development team had lofty goals for the 1995 Lincoln Continental, and although it might not have been considered best in class, the 1995 Continental was a significantly better car than the one it replaced. The car for 1995 was smoother, much more powerful, not to mention offer a level of electronic sophistication that few luxury vehicles could match at the time. But unfortunately, a significantly better car doesn't always translate to a significantly better seller, especially when things such as price, competition, and various other aspects are factored in. The previous 1988 to 1994 Continental sold consistently well with few updates for its 7 model years. In terms of technology, the new for 1995 Continental impressed. However, this particular generation never sold quite as consistently well as its predecessor. For instance, looking at this annual sales figures chart, we can see that there was a slight drop in sales from the outgoing 1994 model to the new 1995 model. Sales continued to drop from 1996 to 1997. The refresh for 1998 brought sales back up to approximately 35,000 units. However, after that, sales dropped consistently. Let us know if you've owned or driven a 1995 to 2002 Lincoln Continental. I can't recall the last time I spotted a 95 to 97 model in my area, and the refreshed 98 models are becoming just as uncommon. I personally know several Continental owners. Overall, they have positive things to say about the car. However, the main gripe that they have with these cars is the air suspension. I had more than one owner mention that the stock suspension became unreliable over time and was prone to failure. Other owners I know replaced the stock air units with coil springs as a way to mitigate the potential problem. And then there are owners that never had a problem with their Continental at all. As always, thanks for coming out to the show, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Until next time, this is your host Rob, and thanks for tuning in to Antique Tags.